Melochim Berg Hey Halacha Aleph. The Rambam says in Melochim Tchilo El Melochim Mitzvah. To begin with, the king is only supposed to wage Melochim Mitzvah. So let's go down to the Peirush. The king does not wage his first war El Melochim Mitzvah, only for that Melochim which is obligated by the Torah. Be'ezim Melochim Mitzvah, which is that Zum Melochim Shivas Amman. First of all, to get rid of the 7 nations that were residing in Israel at the times of Yeshua ben Nun. Machon Nesher HaGodol. The next one is to get rid of Amalek. And we'll see in Paragraph V'ez is Yisrael, or to help the Jewish people from the Plishtim, or Miyad Tzor, or if there's a Sanchev is coming to wage war. Shebo Aleim. All of these are called Melochim Mitzvah. And afterwards, then he can choose to go out to wage war, at which is not necessary, but which is for the purpose of sustenance. And that is the wars that are waged against other nations, to expand the boundaries of Israel. That he should become known and feared, that they'll hear about him. The Kiyah Sefer cites Brochus 4b. Israel war coming before the Order Melech. They said, we don't have what to eat, and he would tell them, go out and to war. Kiyah Sefer says that it wasn't a Melochim Mitzvah, that you don't need his permission, because then there is sustenance from the ones that go out to Melochim Mitzvah. They take spoils, and he didn't have to get permission from the Sanhedrin to go out and do that. The only Melochim Rishus, you don't go out without the permission of the Sanhedrin. The Klechem disagrees and argues it was forbidden for David to go out to war until he conquered all of Eretz Yisrael, like we find the Sifri on the Posuk. Yirishtem Goyim, you have to inherit them. And then only after that, it is the same Posuk 14, every place that you shall place your feet, there it shall be yours. Only once you have inherited all of Israel, you're permitted to inherit elsewhere. And actually, we find in the Gemara that David did not do correct when he conquered Syria. Before he conquered Jerusalem, and first you're obligated to do the Melochim Mitzvah, and only afterwards to add the boundaries of Yisrael. Mishnah cites that the source of the Rambam's delineation of what is called a war of mitzvah and what is found in the Mishnah Soita 44b, that you can anoint a private kohen, and he is the leader to wage war with the garments of the Kohen Gadol to strengthen their hearts. And the Kohen who was anointed has to say, someone who built a house and didn't get use it or enter it, the person who planted a vineyard and didn't harvest it, the person who betrothed a woman did not marry her, the woman who was afraid, all these that have to return from the war. And the Mishnah says, when is it so? That you go back only when it's a war which is not required by Halacha. But when it comes to Melochim Mitzvah, everyone goes out, even a chosim from his marriage booth, and the bride from her chuppah. When is it so? You go back from the war by wars of Mitzvah. But Melochim you go out even a chosim and a kala from the chuppah. So there seems there's 3 levels here: Melochim Mitzvah, Melochim Choiva, Melochim Rishus. In the Gemara over there, Amar says Melochim Yeshua to conquer Yisrael. Everyone's called a Choiva; it's an obligation. Melochim David to broaden the boundaries of Yisrael. That's not obligated; that's permitted. And there's a question regarding when we wage war against nations that come against us. Rabbi calls it a mitzvah, And Tanakama calls it a Rishus because not everyone has to go out. Because the Mishnah questions why the Rambam calls the 7 Amomin and Machon Nesher HaGodol a mitzvah, not obligatory. The Gemara, it's called Machon Nesher Yeshua is called Chayva, obligatory. And he answers that the Rambam codifies the Halacha like the Chachamim, that there's only 2 types of war, mitzvah and Rishus. Therefore, the Melochim is David, broaden the boundary, and to get rid of the nations who are around us is called Rishus. Only a Rishus is called a mitzvah choiva. The others do not have to go out. And therefore, he only mentions 2 types. And he doesn't have to mention choiva. Like we find in Rashi in Soita 44b, only in Rabbi Yeshua there was 3 types of war: choiva, mitzvah, Rishus. 7 Amim was a choiva, because everyone has to go out, even a chosin. Mitzvah is to make sure that other nations do not come against us, and called a mitzvah because you don't. Once you're doing that, you don't have to do other mitzvahs. So rishus is to spread out the boundaries of Eretz Yisrael. That's not called oisig mitzvah. It's not part from other mitzvahs. But according to the Chachamim, it's only rishus and chayva. According to their understanding, you don't have to the waging war of the 7 nations. You do not have to call it a chayva. Therefore, the Rambam calls it mitzvah. The Knesset HaGodol infers from the Rambam in Peirush HaMeir, when it is so by Melchemes or Rishus with the other nations. But the 7 nations and Amalek, which did not come to terms, you don't leave anyone alive. Therefore, the 7 nations and the Melchemes Amalek are called Melchemes Mitzvah. And waging war with other nations is called Melchemes or Rishus. It's like the Lashon here. Rashi, which we find in Sanhedrin, is of the opinion that you don't go out to Melchemes Rishus only with Bezdin of 71, writes, every Melcham is called Rishus except for Yeshua to conquer Israel. Like the Rashi, even Melchemes HaMolech is called Melchemes Rishus. The site it's written, Melchemes Yeshua to conquer, everyone says it's a choiva, like Rashi, but the question is why Melchemes HaMolech is not considered a Melchemes Mitzvah. Because when it ends there, Melchemes Beis it would seem to infer the opposite, that Amalek is in the other category. Like the Rambam, and there it's clarified that Amyud and Chachamim also disagree that you want to minimize the nations that are against you. According to Amyud, it's called a mitzvah. According to Chachamim, it's called a shus. According to everyone, Melchemes HaMolech is certainly a mitzvah.